Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are diving into another Marvel United X-Men gameplay, this time with the designer Andrea. This is going to be a mad dash, a helter-skelter battle between some of the most iconic X-Men characters you could imagine. And not only that, but we get the opportunity to show off a brand new mode here in Marvel United that will, in fact, extend to every other villain or boss that you could face in any of the Marvel United series. This is going to introduce a fifth player. That's right, we're taking it up a notch, and it's going to be a team versus one, or a one versus many, where Andrea, the designer of the game, takes control of one of our characters, Sabertooth in this case, facing up against a whole group of X-Men heroes doing their very best to stop him from taking over and knocking out every single character. That's right, this is going to be a one versus many death or ultimate brawl. This game has been one of our favorites to explore. I'm super excited to see X-Men coming back, and I'm not going to hold on to you too long. I'm going to get to the gameplay as quickly as possible, but before we get there, I do want to make sure that I thank Simon, Spin Master Games, and Marvel for collaborating and making all of this possible, and specifically Simon for sponsoring this video and helping us coordinate everyone getting together. And with that being said, let's throw to myself introducing everyone.
Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining us. You just saw me introducing this and saying hello a second time, which is always a weird thing that I do way too much. You're watching Marvel United. We're going to be doing a gameplay. I'm joined today with a collection of people who I am all massive fans of, which makes this a problem because as I go through and introduce them, I'm going to be telling you, the audience, that you should totally follow links that are going to be down below and go support them all, but there's like 20 of them, and so, or 5, I suppose. Never been the best at math. Starting with Andrea right below me, you are a Simon designer and also the designer of Marvel United. And I suppose it's a secret right now when we're recording, but by the time people are watching this, they are fully aware that X-Men are coming to the franchise. And we're going to be showing off something that, well, first off, no one else has played or seen up to this point. And I think is going to be changing up the game in a pretty significant way.
Really?
Along with that, I have, where do I start? Let's see here. Let's start with the most handsome and charming. That'll be Nat over there from Natful Games. You are one of our Discord moderators, one of the members of my community, and also now a designer of your own right, who's creating some really incredible stuff. Where can people find out about what you're doing, buddy?
That's me. You can find out what I'm up to at the Quackalope community Discord, or on my website at natfulgames.com. That's NAPFUL games.com. But you didn't list my proudest achievement, Jesse.
What's your proudest achievement?
Banned from Patreon for being too big of a Quackalope.
That's true. That's true. He did get flagged for commenting on everything we put out. Tony
Hey.
From Plus One EXP. You and I have collaborated on a variety of RPG little indie zines and other massive storytelling campaigns, and we're bringing you over. We're convincing you to play a board game now. Where can people find out what you do, man?
Believe it or not, I have played at least one board game before.
I don't believe
it. You can find me at Tony Bacinda across pretty much anything, but you can find the brand at Plus One EXP across all social media platforms, or at plus1exp.com. We're a weird little brand that multi-classed in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. And that's who we are.
Awesome. Stephanie, minimum player count. I have yet to have a chance to hang out with you because you have sort of risen to fame along with Jazz alongside the world being shut down, and your name indicates as such, right? You specialize in covering a variety of different board games based off of what the box claims is the minimum player count.
That is correct.
Where can people find out about you?
You can find me at minimum player count just about everywhere on social media, but I'm mainly on YouTube and Instagram. That's where my main platforms are at, where I'm mainly going to be responding and talking to you.
And I saved by far the best for last, Jazz. from the Lobby of Hobbies. I have been excited to get to know you. We've done a few things together, and we have a few more projects down the road. You started out as a podcast, but now you're doing video content over on YouTube under the Lobby of Hobbies. What are you focused on right now?
Honestly, the idea, we want people to enter while we share the games that we enjoy in hopes that they discover something worth checking out. But our focus is probably, primarily just to get people that are new to the hobby in general, introduce them to the hobby, because we know people play games all over the world, whether it's just culturally, but we want to introduce the modern board game hobby to them in hopes that, they find something that they can get to the table with their loved ones and family, just all about building community. So you can find us everywhere at Lobby of Hobbies on all your social media platforms. On YouTube, which is not my I guess it's not my forte, but it's becoming my forte.
Yeah.
It has to. But yeah, check us out on YouTube, the Lobby of Hobbies. And the idea is, we just want to introduce games to people. We do a couple lobby talk sessions along with some reviews that we just kind of break down to see how diverse that game is, whether or not it's good, and whether it's inviting enough to get to the table. So we say, can you dig it?
I love it. All that being said, those of you that are still watching after I introduced everything, I had to take the time to do so because I genuinely am such a big fan of all these people sitting around the table. That being said, that is not what we're here to do. We are here, well, I guess to play a game, I suppose, to show off the villain mode, the one versus many mode for the very first time for Marvel United. Andre, can you break down what's happening here and give us we're not going to do a full gameplay teach. There's a great 5-minute video produced by Simon that'll get you under the mechanics of this game. We're going to talk about what's new and then get to showing off these new characters in this new mode.
Yeah, this is a very special new mode that we created to allow 5 people to play the game, with the 5th as the villain. So this is called the super villain mode, which means that today or tonight, depending on the time zone, I will be playing as the villain because, of course, game designer.
Yeah, it doesn't, I gotta be honest, it doesn't quite seem fair.
Of course, it is not. I mean, I'm a super villain after all. I don't have to be fair. And I will try to defeat the 4 heroes that will be facing me. So I will be play as one of our new villains, which is Sabertooth. And the heroes will be Mystique, Cyclops, Magneto, and Beast. It's worth to notice that both Mystique and Magneto are anti-heroes in the game, so they can be played both as heroes and villains. Of course, they cannot be heroes against themselves as villains, but we're playing Sabertooth as the villain, so it's okay. What is different between the regular game and the supervillain mode? I will be choosing the cards for the villain instead of just drawing the top card of the master plan deck.
Wait, you're not stopping?
Yeah.
That alone is bad news.
It's really bad news.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, I have a little hand of super villain cards. I simply shuffle the little deck. I will draw 4 of them, choose 3 to keep, discard 1, and I will have those 3 special cards, which are nasty surprises for the heroes. Super villain cards, let me maybe show one to everybody so they know what can be coming. All cards have a trigger, so I can play Sabotage each time I play a master plan card. Of course, they are one used and are discarded, and they have an effect that is immediately solved, like taking all action tokens away from heroes and discarding one of my choice, and then giving them back to them in any split I want. So super villain are really bad news for the heroes. However, the heroes have 2 additional resources that will help them defeating the super villain. One are superhero cards. At the start of the game, each hero draws 2 of the 8 superhero cards. They are not that different from supervillain. Again, let's take one. Chart the plan. The trigger of this card is the villain ends their movement in your location. And the effect is you can look at the cards I have in my hand and you may force me to discard 1. So each hero draws 2 cards, keeps 1. And again, they can play them when the condition is triggered. They have one additional thing, which is always listed in the back of the villain dashboard. Extra tokens for the heroes at the start of the game. In this case, Sabertooth gives the heroes 4 wild tokens to start the game with.
That's
which
awesome.
for people familiar with the game, is a big help.
Now, is that a common pool, or do we have to give them 2 people right now?
It's a common pool, and the hero players can decide how to split them.
Awesome. So I'll put them right down here so everyone can see them.
What they must decide is who will be the starting player, and they take it from there, deciding how to split those. And then we have our beloved villain Sabertooth, and he has some special things as
Beloved
a villain.
is generous, but okay.
I mean, charming. First of all, he has a special setup. He will give this token, the hunted token, to the first hero that will play. So I will be waiting for their decision of which is the first to play, and give that player the hunted token. Then he has a very special villainous plot. The heroes lose if the hunted token is given back to the starting hero. What does it mean? Each time I KO the hero with the hunted token, let's now pretend it's Cyclops, just because I love to hunt Cyclops. I KO Cyclops, he gives the hunted token to the next hero, which is Magneto. When I KO Magneto, he gives the hunted token to Beast.
No.
Beast gives it to Mystique, and then if I finally KO Mystique, goes back to Cyclops, and I immediately won the game.
This has got to be one of the most aggressive characters I've seen. That is terrifying.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Sabertooth.
I know, but
I forget how
taking us
notice
out
he
one by
said.
one.
Yeah, he said when he KOs them, not
When
if
he KOs, yeah, and F, yep.
Yeah. And this is what is so special with Sabertooth. I mean, he also always deals with his BAM 2 damage to one hero in his location. So very, very aggressive villain. One special thing to be noticed for the heroes is that Mystique is a special hero, and she starts with 2 starting cards in her hand, which are metamorphs, which allow her to redirect damage to an henchman. We don't have henchmen in this game, but also to tags in her location. So she's really tough.
And that's something new here in the X-Men. Not only are we noticing that we're playing with Magneto down here, but also Mystique. Both of those are semi-heroes, or whatever the term is, anti-heroes. So they actually have villain cards where you could battle against them. They have hero cards where you could play with them. And everyone here in X-Men is actually going to come with either a combination of starting abilities and cards that fit their character profile and role, or even more in-deck superpowered cards. I believe there's 4 instead of 2, and that's because, as far as I'm concerned, X-Men are just more badass. I think that's a fact, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, well, sometimes they have very different and various powers, so it was so difficult to cover all the powers with 3 special cards. So we went with a minimum of 4.
Now, one other very important thing, this mode that we're showing off right now, Marvel United as a core system is going to be entirely interchangeable. And so you could have Iron Man facing off with Magneto. You could have Professor X going head-to-head with the Beast or with Ant-Man. You could have them teaming up and combining forces. And along with that, this concept of having a 5th player play the 1 versus many role is also going to be interchangeable to any of the past heroes. So if you're hopping in here, you're going to be unlocking a lot of content that stretches across the game state, which is super cool to me.
So are we ready to go?
I believe we are. Let's just go ahead and establish who's playing who so people can keep people tied together.
Yep.
Who wants to start? Someone take it.
I'm playing
Go
the. Oh, go ahead, Jazz.
And Jazz is the first player as well. Good job, Jazz. You just signed up.
Thanks. Well, I guess being Cyclops being the first leader, right? Today you are all combatants. You are all X-Men. We fight or we die. Let's go.
So you're playing Cyclops. I like that.
Yes, I'm
Cinematic.
Cyclops.
You just won the most hunted token.
Oh, that's cool.
Fair.
You said you like to hunt them, so let's go.
Yeah.
Tony, you were excited to get out there.
Yeah, so I am playing a character who as a preteen I had a lot of affinity with because he is huge and hairy, but also would just love to spend a lot of time reading books when not saving the world, and that is I'm playing as Beast.
I love it. That fits so well. Stephanie, playing a bit of a anti-hero here.
I am. I am so excited to play Mystique in this.
Yeah, she's probably one of my favorite characters out of the entire franchise. And Nat Nell.
Yeah. And I'm playing the most attractive character, Magneto.
Okay. Yep, that is true. That is true. I mean, renowned for how handsome and charming he is. I think that's accurate.
Well, I was going in a different direction there.
Oh!
Just that things
I
are
see.
attracted to him.
I see what you did there.
Primarily metal objects.
And for
Now,
anyone,
I made that joke, Nat, before you were on, and no one laughed either. That makes you feel any better. They didn't get it then.
I got it. I just don't believe in puns. Also, don't judge who I'm attracted to. You know, I like Magneto. He's well, never mind. He's a problem by far. I am also, if anyone's curious why I'm loud and obnoxious and clearly not playing this game at all, I am playing the videographer, the cameraman. So I will be conducting the camera to try to make sure that you, the viewer, has the best possible experience. And with that, Cyclops?
I don't know. This guy's it's crazy. Listen, him and Logan, me and Logan, we don't see eye to eye sometimes. We got our eyes set on Jean Grey. But I don't know. This, Sabertooth and Logan have a history. So I don't know. He's just after me. When you're the first leader, things just come after
Things just
you.
happen. He's up there on Asteroid M, which is going to be a bit of an issue. At the start of the game, do we start playing in our sequence, or does the supervillain go first?
The supervillain goes first, just like the villain goes first in the regular game.
All right.
Okay.
I have a little hand of master plan cards of 2, and I draw 1, and then I choose one of the 3 cards to play. And well, I feel that I should immediately take down Cyclops. I use my hunter senses to move to the location with the hunted hero.
Mm-hmm.
So whoop, I jump on Muir Island. Did I pronounce that well, correctly? And
I have a feeling that you literally leapt from the asteroid and just straight through the atmosphere into the ground. Yeah.
And when I arrive here already, 2 things happen. I enter in a killing spree. You see the threat card. So I discard all civilians from this location. So he goes away. And the hunted hero, so the hero with the hunted token, gets 1 damage. So Cyclops.
I'm going to interrupt you there.
Oh no! Come on.
Magneto
Already.
to the rescue.
Oh,
like
he's shielding Cyclops. Okay. So Magneto.
I've got the safety helmet and everything, so I might as well.
Ha.
So you take so you're going to take the damage. You're going to discard a card and put it in the bottom of your deck, and you're going to go ahead and get yourself one of these star tokens too.
Yeah, I mean, heroic action from Magneto. Who could have foreseen that? Okay, well, that is how. Well, first off, Magneto's upset because you took his asteroid, and second off, that is how he decided to get involved in this. He wasn't even going to be a hero in this story until Sabretooth showed up and pissed him off.
That's right. Well, it's good to have Magnus on the team. Professor X has been working with him, trying to do everything right. So, all right. Okay. Well, at least I can do my BAM, which is deal 2 damage to 1 hero in Sabertooth location, and this must be the hunted hero if they are in that location. So Cyclops should take 2 damages unless someone else wants to do something. No? Okay, so discard 2 cards, Cyclops, please. Oh, wonderful.
This is starting out well. Now, just to remind the players, y'all can't do anything back to Sabertooth till you've completed some of these quests. So that's got to be our initial focus.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to be populating the civilian areas here. So
now
you're going to be putting
Now, if I have a superhero card that would allow me to do something according to that trigger, can I play that? Will it?
Sure.
All right,
You can play it now.
All right, so villain ends their movement in your location. It says the effect move to any other location. Would that prevent the damage?
Oh, of course, yes. Then I will have dealt damage to another hero. Yes.
Oh no.
So you take your card back. You play this. You move. Come on. You are already playing your best cards against me.
Well,
I wanted to start off in a different light. That's why. All right, so I'm going to draw one. Let's move. Actually, let's move. Let's move to the Blackbird.
Cool. So you're fleeing away with the Blackbird, coward. Okay, which means
Leaving us
that
all behind.
my BAM deals 2 damage to one of the other 3 heroes, and so in this case the heroes choose. I don't choose who's taking the damage, but of course if Magneto takes the damage, he goes KO, so that's probably not good for you. So I would suggest that is either Beast or Mystique.
I also suggest Beast or Mystique.
How much damage?
It's 2.
2.
2.
so here'd be one of the questions. If anyone has their super powerful cards or like their double wild in their hand that they'd have to discard, they might not want to cycle that because it would go to the bottom of their deck. If anyone has basically 2 simple basic cards that they really don't care that much about, it might be the time to take the damage.
I'll say this: I don't like all of my opening hand is very good.
Okay. So what about you, Stephanie? Where are you?
I could take damage.
All right, you're discarding 2 cards and you're going to put them on the bottom of your deck there. That's this is not yeah, so I don't know what to tell you guys to do. Do your best, team.
I like how right before we hit record, just was like, "Don't worry, I'll be here. I'll help you guys out. I'll coach you through the entire thing." One villain move in, he's like, "Yeah, I got nothing."
I got nothing. Yeah.
Okay. So Mystique should take 1 more damage.
Yep.
And discard one of your 2 superhero cards. You can keep 2.
Let's do. Okay.
Okay, but now my villain turn is done, so it's up to you.
All right, so I'm drawing 1, playing 1. So let's go here. All right, for my first, let's play. We'll play leadership here as my first card.
Okay.
Give 1 token from your pool to another hero. So I will.
So it's from the pool. So you can
from
keep
the pool.
yours, but from up here you could assign that to another hero.
Well, because Mystique is so brave, we're definitely giving Mystique a wild token.
Okay.
All right. And then for the special action at my location, I can use that symbol and rescue a civilian, correct?
You could do that, or you could do the bottom star mat. Either of those are options.
All right. What are you guys feeling? You guys think we should go with that civilian, or do you want to go right ahead and jump and put that star right on in?
Or definitely save the civilian.
I was gonna say the civilian because we need to get rid of those cards.
Wait. Andrea just said save the civilian.
Yeah. So
I do want to point
I am messing
out.
with you.
I do want to point something out that we should all be paying attention to. There's 2 locations right now that are going to overflow if he's able to trigger them. So someone needs to, before he goes again, needs to get into these locations and try to clear them out a bit as well. Yeah, I might do the star, but I mean either is going to get you a point in the right direction. So.
I think as we clear locations, we're going to become better at everything that we do.
That's true.
And so,
That's true.
and since this one is not currently close to full up, I would go for putting a star in the track.
I like that, Tony. Let's do that.
Okay.
Hank, that's the reason you read books. I might be the first leader, but Hank reads books, so that's all that matters.
I believe I at some points in time, Beast has also been a team leader of the other team.
Yeah, so
was that when the mansion was completely empty and he was just there on his own
just
reading?
him. It was just him. It was like, go do some flips. Upside down by your feet while reading a book.
Nice. So that would end my turn, correct? Draw a card, play a card. And it's on to you, Hank.
All right. You played a cool. So just to clarify, and for anybody out there watching, so the gold is the heroic action. The greens are move. The reds are fights.
Punches. Yeah.
Punches, right? So if I want to move around, I need to play green.
Yep.
However, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Oh, you might want to draw first.
Yeah,
maybe.
you draw a card.
first. What do I draw? Just one of mine?
Just one card up. Yep.
One card, yes.
Oh.
Maybe it's exactly what you needed.
No, it's exactly what I was going to spend. So yeah, it's the same card we're already going to use.
Genius intelligence. This turn, you can treat stars as wilds.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Beast
got-
is so smart.
So you've got potentially 3 wilds with the one that you're including down here on your profile.
Correct, which means I can do all the things, right?
You could do most of the things, yes.
So theoretically, if I wanted to, I could also, since we have no one on this location on Muir Island, correct?
Here on the island,
Yeah.
you could do that. You could totally clear out that bottom effect.
Well, he has 2 icons, yeah, but then 1 wild token in the hand, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean that's an option, which feels like a very powerful option.
Now, what that'll open up, end of turn, another hero in this or an adjacent location may draw 1 card. That's health.
Yeah, I like that.
That's actually major.
Yeah.
Especially with Magneto still to go. I think that, yeah.
Because the only other option is to go
It's
clear
fine.
people off one of these adjacent ones, which would be helpful. But I also just feel like with that kind of strong opening, we need another kind of strong
Well,
response.
let's check his overflow. Overflow. If 1 or more tokens can't be added to a location, deal 1 damage to the hunted hero. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it can hurt, but I don't know.
I'm gonna. So who's going next then? Is it Mystique goes next or Magneto?
Anyone, I think we choose.
Anyone? Does anybody have a way to start clearing people off
once
next turn?
once we've established order, you have to keep following that order, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Stephanie? That was a yes. You have a way to
I'm
clear.
checking my card here. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the order on who's going next because
So it could be either of you, but once we've established order, we have to follow that order.
Yeah. So you've got 2 wilds, which means you can get somewhere. The question is, based on what you have in your hand, do you feel pretty confident you could maybe clear off a person on one of those sites?
based on what I have in my hand, no. But I get to draw a card, so
Well, a
Not
wild
very
can
confident.
clear a guy, right?
yeah, you need to clear a civilian or a thug off a location.
I think either of us could do 1.
Yeah, I think that's the so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and use the heroic. I mean, we're just gonna use them as they are, which kind of feels a little bit like a waste, but also feels very strong. Clearing the location, getting that ability, and also getting a quarter way towards an objective feels like a strong response. So I'm gonna go ahead and use both of those heroic actions to clear 2 of the spots on that, and then the wild token, which I'll put back in the bag.
You've placated his killing spree slightly.
I'm always the worst at this.
Okay.
Which then lets us have the ability to another here at the end of my turn. Another hero in this
Yes.
for an adjacent location may draw a card, and this is the end of my turn, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So Cyclops is no longer down for this, but Mystique lost 2 cards. Magneto lost 1.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have Mystique. Why don't you draw? Why don't you get a card back?
Okay.
Sweet.
So who's playing now? Mystique.
I can
Mystique.
go. Let's see.
So if you're able to deal with any of these overflow locations, that would be helpful.
Okay. What was the previous one? Let's see.
You're gonna have a star action, which could rescue a civilian. So if you've got a little bit of movement, you could jump out and rescue a civilian.
I guess that's
Yeah,
true.
I have this card just gave me a movement and a hit.
Okay.
If I play this,
And then let's see, what are these? No place to hide. If the hunted hero ends their turn in this location, they take 1 damage. If the hunted hero ends, so both of the effects are going to be the same. Interesting. All of these are terrible. The hunted hero needs to get to the location where there's no negative
Come
effects.
back.
Negative effects, yeah.
So either of these would be just as good as another for you to move to. So really, between the Weapon X facility and the Sentinel space station, you get to kind of choose what you want to do.
let's go to the Sentinel space station then.
Okay. And then let's see here. So you have 1 punch, a movement, and a star. So you can clear off the thug with the punch. And then you can decide between taking down one of these star areas or clearing out one of the civilians with your special action.
We're gonna do the star area.
Nice.
She also just has those 2 wilds she could toss in there. We just clear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we can clear it.
Oh,
completely.
she does have 2 wilds.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Cyclops gave her one before.
So do you want to spend both of those and clear off the entire location? That would unlock end of turn. You may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck to swap a card from your hand with one of your face-up cards in the storyline. So it would allow you to pull back cards, which could be pretty powerful, especially if you start playing your some cards are universally better than others, like unequivocally.
That would also give us another turn before Sabertooth goes, correct?
Sabertooth, would it?
No,
Right?
Oh.
No.
It
I'm
wouldn't
going
let-
to play now.
It wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
It
It wouldn't pull it
open
back.
up,
Open it. Okay.
You're swapping one.
You're swap. You still
Oh,
a card
swap.
down. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I thought it was a straight take back. Sorry.
But I also think for a character like Mystique, especially who starts out with a specific set of actions, being able to use those and pull them back actually is a really strong piece. Also.
Okay, so you're going to spend your star, the 2 double wilds, and you're going to successfully clear this off. Now, one thing you all should be aware of, because you're doing a real good job at clearing these locations and accomplishing these missions, if you finish one of these tasks, one of these 3 areas, before you finished any of the others, the villain will speed up and become significantly more violent, I think is the correct term. Is that? So you want
the villain or the player? That's the question.
both. In this case, is absolutely both. So you all are going to want to balance. Now, here's the one thing I'm concerned about. Andrea, it's Sabertooth's turn.
Yeah, but we also have the most control over clearing locations. Nothing makes us accidentally clear
That's
a
true.
location, right? So,
So I think in this phase of the game, I'm still relying on my hunter senses, and I move to the location with the hunted hero.
Okay.
I don't have many of those, so I'm kind of using them all now. So I just moved there. I don't think Cyclops has any more
Now,
card to escape.
the location where you're at is the killing spree location.
Yeah.
Discard
So-
all civilians from the location, deal 1 damage to the hunted hero. So you've murdered a poor grandmother.
or maybe he was disguised as that poor grandmother the entire time. That's how he got on the X-Jet in the middle of the ocean.
What's the grandmother doing in the X-Jet?
She's
I know.
baking cookies for the X-Men team. What are you talking about?
The X-Men don't promote ageism. She was working on the X-Jet. She
Listen,
was absolutely the mechanic for the
do
X-Jet.
you? I mean, she could be as well, but she was doing both. Do you not believe? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the world is not only powered by grandmothers, but also the entire X-Men squadron is entirely powered by the love and affection of grandmothers.
I
And
would
chocolate
love-
chip cookies. That's all that matters.
I would love to see an alt X-Men world where it's just all their grandmas. The squad.
Would be awesome. Okay, so now it's turn to use
BAM
my
effect.
BAM, and it deals 2 damage to one hero in Sabertooth location. And there is only Cyclops in my location, so he gets 2 more damages.
Yeah.
Mm.
I believe Cyclops is knocked out.
Knocked out.
Yeah.
What? Did
That's-
we just...
Yeah. 1 point for the bad guy. Yay. Okay, so Cyclops is knocked down, which means that the hunted token is passed to
It's
Beast.
going over to Beast. Yeah.
So as the person who now has to worry about that,
Okay.
I get knocked out when I take how much damage?
When you discard your last card
I discard my last.
From your
card.
hand.
from your hand, yes.
Now, does Jazz automatically draw back
So
up?
now I reactivate my BAM, which actually... no. When it will be his turn again, he will draw back.
Oh, it's terrible.
He's like out of the game for all purposes until it's his turn again. But it's good, so I cannot damage him anymore.
Brutal.
That is
so
brutal.
I reactivate my BAM, which deals 2 damage to one hero in my location, but there is no one here, so that is wasted. Then I can place 4 civilians, 2 on my left and 2 on my right.
Oh,
And since
no.
there is only room for 1, there is an overflowing effect, which is deal 1 damage to the hero with the hunted token, which is now Beast. So Beast takes 1 damage.
His Cyclops buddy, I get it. All right, so I'm just gonna discard this.
You're gonna, yeah, you'll stick it in the bottom of your deck.
Okay, and my turn is over, but I mean, was a good turn for Sabertooth.
All right. Well,
And now it's Magneto.
that just happened.
Magneto is up. So just to clarify, I don't gain access to the symbols on
You do.
Mystique's card.
You absolutely do.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
do.
yeah. So you draw, you play, and you have your card symbols and the symbols at the bottom of Mystique card.
It's
Okay.
only when they're super powerful abilities that you don't
Yeah.
get access, right? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
Correct.
words.
So you've got
Yes.
a guaranteed move and punch at the moment, which
Yeah.
It's
Which
good.
is great.
and we're running out of all the time in the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got a lot of. I mean, you can go up and punch somebody at. Oh no, I don't know if you. Is
And you've
movement
got a
just
wild-
1-to-1?
1-to-1, yep. Sometimes there's effects that change that up, but yeah, standard is just 1-to-1.
Right, let's see what's the most effective turn for me. I think I'm gonna start with a bit of a powerful turn, and I'm gonna play this card here, Magneto
okay.
Kinesis. I'm going to use the move from Mystique to move here. I'll use my wild to move again. So
Nice.
Magneto's flown his way all the way to Genosha.
Okay.
And then
You're taking out
he's gonna
every single thug.
Yeah,
fling all of that metal in all different directions
That's
and
awesome.
take out one
I like
thug
it.
from my location and one thug from both the adjacent locations.
Okay, so
Not just one, because you have an
One.
additional punch from
Yeah.
From this one. You're taking out every
True.
thug.
All
I'm
of
taking
them.
out all of the thugs. Just
Yes. It's
So-
perfect. All that metal, all that scrap metal on Genosha just goes
I'm
Exactly.
assuming they were your thugs and they betrayed you. That's how he got it. That's how he got a hold of the meteorite. And you just you had one little metal rod implanted in their brain and you just snipped it.
exactly.
so who invited Nathaniel to the table?
Yeah, that was Tony. I won't take credit for that.
Okay.
That was good.
So it's Cyclops' turn again. Now
Alright.
he goes back to his feet and draws 4 cards.
4 cards.
Yep.
Okay.
It will be 3
Oh.
plus the one for
The
Gustavo.
good news is now you know what the worst thing in the world feels like. So, you can fight with bravery and keep moving forward.
Yes,
You know
I
you're
could.
not the one getting punched right now.
Yeah, I know.
He's not interested in you anymore.
All right. So the terrible thing is that, all right, this is probably the best thing that I can do. It's not terribly bad.
I like the way you phrased that.
Yeah, you know, sometimes
It's the best thing I can do. It's not the worst.
Oh, that's a
All
great
right.
card to play. It's
so
great, excellent.
So we'll play that because I can't. There's nothing that Magneto gives me, so I will allow myself to clear this here, which will then allow me to
Boom.
Move to any other location.
Ooh.
Let's see what I have. I'm trying to think my turns ahead. I would.
If you, let's see here, another hero in this or an adjacent location may draw one card. If you end your turn on Muir Island, you will immediately be able to heal the beast.
However, you cannot chain to end of turn effect from location, so you cannot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could. I mean,
nice.
it's a shame. You know, let's ask the designer at least. Can we?
Those designers, terrible.
Can we just redesign that part into the rules?
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
We should.
I'm pretty sure if we get it wrong on stream, it's official,
becomes
right?
canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, so we were talking about what was the next location that we were thinking of possibly having to.
So
there's
Genosha, which you may rescue one civilian from this location. There's Asteroid M. You may deal 1 damage to a thug or henchman in any location. And then there's Weapon X. You may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to gain 2 punch tokens. I'm sort of thinking Weapon X might give you an advantage against Magneto.
Yeah.
Getting a stack of punch tokens, not Magneto. That's actually our friend this time. Might give you an advantage against Sabertooth.
Yeah.
What did I ever do to you?
And that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well,
let's.
I mean, do we want to go into the details, Nat? Because there's been a few situations in the past that have been.
So yeah, let's go over to Weapon X, and that will.
And that's
my
the end
turn.
of your turn.
Yes.
So it's Beast's turn.
All right. So I can either. I got a couple options. Or do I draw at the
Did you
beginning of my
draw?
turn?
Yeah,
You gotta draw.
So I can do a whole lot of actions this turn, which is great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think of what the best options will be. Punches don't really do anything for us right now, because there's no one to punch on the board. Correct?
If you
Correct.
If you are able to end in Muir Island, you would be able to give Mystique 1 extra card, and
Yeah,
I know she's pretty low.
The only problem with that is I can't do anything on Muir Island.
There's nothing to do there. Yes, you're right. No, I see that. I see that.
So
Such a boring place.
yeah. So I'm trying to think. I can do a little bit of good and get back there, or I can go somewhere and do a whole lot of good and not get back there. And those are kind of the two things I have to weigh out right now.
Do a whole lot of good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a little bit of a waste in this, unfortunately, but I think it's what's gonna be the move.
Move, punch, double star.
Yeah.
I like that move.
I think we're gonna go here. Does that make the most sense to everybody else?
Yeah.
I can like, instead of punching, maybe just high five Mystique. Like
Yeah,
it's a pretend
what's
like
up?
we're about to punch because I'm used to fighting, but then we just high five instead.
The battle of the blue guys.
Right. And then
You go to the Weapon X facility and you place 1 or 2 of those stars down there. I can finish it off next turn. Though I don't know if we want to do that.
I thought about that, but we're not ready to
Right.
launch. Like we have no civilians and there are no thugs on the board. So if we clear that,
You need to
it's
wait.
going to make the villain more
Yeah.
stronger. And so I actually either want to grind this up, which we can't do now, or just start working on civilians. I think.
Let's,
And so-
yeah, civilians for sure,
And here's
especially since my
here's
card.
one of the concerns. The thug spawn, as far as I can tell right now, is going to be based off of Andre's deck, and so he will be able to potentially control. Depending on what he's drawn up, he will have more control over how many thugs are down here on the table than we would normally have.
So that's
true.
So they're able to basically also control the rate at which certain things pop out.
There may be moments where he's not able to, but if you notice, the first 2 cards he played just spawned civilians,
Correct.
Right.
and he could continue screwing with us like that.
Right. So I think that's my
So
thought. I
we
think
should get civilians.
we're just gonna keep on going right here, and we're gonna save these 2 civilians, and then you.
And then
I was going top to bottom.
You punch one of them.
Sorry, yeah, move there. Save 2 civilians. Pretend to punch Mystique, but then give a high five instead. And then because it can't do anything with that punch, right? It's essentially a
I mean,
goes away.
you could hit a grandmother with it, but other than that, that's
No, because grandmother's
Whoa.
power of the universe. She's in the middle of baking cookies. That's what villains do.
well, and fixing the ship.
Dark Beast might do that. And then the end effect I have here is I'm gonna discard 1 card from my hand to the bottom of my deck to swap a card from my hand with one of the face-up cards on the storyline. Well, I will say this right now. That does absolutely nothing for me. Oh wait, I guess it may do something for me. It doesn't do a lot for me. I've got a pretty good bead right now for I think what we need, and so
Since we're talking about grandmothers, I'm just going to show you. My grandmother made me a hand-stitched bag lady. That's
awesome.
So when you go to the grocery
It's
store,
adorable.
you stuff her with bags because then you have them all organized. So next time I go back to visit my grandparents, I will be receiving a hand-stitched bag lady.
I think that's a handsome
Adorable.
bag. My question is, how does it look like a self-portrait of your grandma? Like, or does it look completely different than her?
No, it doesn't look like a self-portrait of my grandmother. It's adorable and she's adorable, but they are not twins.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm wasting 2 things this turn, but I still think that was probably the best move given what I could accomplish this turn.
Yeah.
And so I think I am unfortunately going to end my turn right now.
Okay.
Hey, which makes it Sabertooth turn again. So I draw. I consider my options and maybe
Maybe leave people alone. You retire.
Just relax for a turn. You take it. You
Yes,
find
yes.
Those chocolate chip cookies on the
That's-
airplane.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely
sure.
what I was going to do. So I am going to both play a super villain card and
wonderful.
my regular card. So those 2 things should happen together because
Oh man, what is this?
it's linked.
so
So
excited.
of course you should be. My trigger is I play a master plan card that should add any civilian or tags, and if I play misdirection, I can add those, splitting them as I want in my and adjacent location, so I don't have to follow the pattern down here. So first of all, I move 0 locations, which means that nothing happens.
You gotta stay for the cookies. It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I activate my regenerative factor, which means that as long as this card is in the storyline, I will recover 1 health at the end of my turn.
That's
I cannot
not good.
go up. Yeah, that's set up
No,
for later.
thank you.
But then I have to place 3 tags. So I will play 1 tag here, 1 tag there, and since I played the misdirection, I play the 3rd tag on Asteroid M,
no.
which means there is an overflow and Beast takes 1 damage, which is not enough to KO him, unfortunately.
But
So
I
you
do
see-
this. I have to discard a card.
Yeah.
I'm really upset you didn't jump to where I was because I had a plan for that.
Oh,
And
Now you don't get to activate the location abilities, do you? As the supervillain?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Sabretooth cannot pilot the jet.
He's too distracted with the cookies.
Well, and also the grandmother sabotaged the jet as soon as she realized none of the heroes were on it. We all realized that.
Well, I'm trying to figure out which batch of cookies that he got into because that was a pretty powerful turn.
So it's Mystique now.
Look, y'all
Okay.
aren't doing as bad as I thought you would.
Whoa.
Thanks,
Oh,
bud.
so you thought we were going to do bad from the start?
What?
Thank
No,
you.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
It is fun. Like I love this. This is a great feel because I don't actually know how well or how bad we're doing, which on asymmetrical games like this is one of my favorite things about the first playthrough. Is you have zero frame of reference.
Yeah.
All right. What are we thinking? It looks like it is, Mystique.
So I have a move and a punch.
So with a double move and a double punch, can you split up your movement action so she could move, punch, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have I'm saying before what Beast played, he has a move and a punch, and then I have either a move or a punch. Let's see.
But you could either you have a move or a punch. You could either move 2 and punch somebody to work, so we don't have to worry as much about overflow here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move twice, right?
Yeah, that seems to make sense.
And go
Just punch a thug in the face.
here and punch a thug.
Boom.
Somebody got to punch a thug.
Cool.
Just terrible.
What?
I'm imagining like an inflatable Darth Vader. Did you ever get those like blow up doll? You know.
No, tell us more.
Yeah,
it's just a
need to-
punching, just
Tony.
like the little kid punching bags. Like we'd
I'm
always get
not
like.
familiar. Tell me,
No.
explain it again.
What does it look like?
All right.
Does it weeble and it wobble, but it doesn't fall down?
It does both. Yeah, it does the whole thing. It does. It's magic. All right, I'm just reliving my childhood. Y'all keep playing this game. Don't judge me.
What about an
All right.
X-Men game made you think of your childhood? I can't even imagine.
So that is the end of my turn.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
it's Magneto's turn.
Magneto, don't mess
Yes,
this up.
Magneto. Well,
On you.
let's see what I have available to me. Interesting. Alright. It's not going to be as flashy as last time, but
Dang it.
I'm going to
Most of them
use
aren't.
my genius intelligence. So this turn I can treat movement as wild.
Okay.
So
double
I'm
wild.
gonna-
Oh, double wild.
yes, I'm going to treat both of these as wild and clear off these civilians. I'm reluctantly saving and rescuing these pathetic human grandmothers.
You're scooping them up on the cookie sheets they're carrying and hovering them.
Oh.
Exactly. All right, and that's my turn.
And
Over to the leader.
Over to the leader. All right, let's say. So I have a movement to my ability. I am going to. Let's play this. Let's see.
Just make it a really good one, no matter what you do.
I think I think
I
this
like that
is.
advice.
I think this is the play here. So I'm going to play this
Oh,
here,
nice.
giving me a special ability. I am going to use my movement to move here.
Oh, is that you?
That's me.
Oh, wait,
That's
that's
Oh,
Beast.
sorry. That is where am I at here then?
I'm glad you're excited,
Oh,
but
Great, thank you. Actually, in that case,
If you end up on Muir Island, you could heal me up a little bit. But it
so you
won't
could
do
do
anything else.
a civilian rescue and a move to land on Muir Island.
so
Yeah.
yes, let's exactly. Okay, let's do that. I was looking
Exactly.
at blue. You knew exactly what I was doing, Jesse.
Yeah,
Great,
it was perfect.
awesome.
I
So
figured
we'll
it
do
out.
that. We will move here, and then yes, let's give Beast another card.
Woo!
Look at
Seems-
you.
Seems reasonably strategic considering the entire objective of the villain is destroy the players. This is so you all don't have reference for this, but all the other villains are just like fill the board with thugs or like accomplish your main objective. This one's just literally wipe the floor with everyone playing.
That's cool.
And I didn't draw my card at the beginning of the turn, which,
That also
like, honestly, looking at it, it wouldn't have changed what I was going to do. So
Okay.
that makes the challenge level of Sabretooth very interesting. Do the villains feel fairly balanced, Andrea? Like as far as when you're playing against them, or is there kind of a power scaling that happens for any of
There is a little bit of power scaling, but mostly we try to make them really unique.
Okay.
So, like, I think in the previous video, they were playing against Magneto, and he's trying to find all the mutants and convert them to his cause. So he's turning civilians into thugs, and he wins when there are no civilians on the board.
Oh, that's
Also,
cool.
I mean, he can also beat the people, but that's his main plan. And you use Cerebro to try to find them before him. And Mystique, she goes on an assassination attempt, so she tried to kill Senator Kelly, and the hero must protect him at all cost. And well,
You can try.
Juggernaut has a more simple and straightforward plan. I mean, he's not even just he's not hunting like Sabertooth. He just wants to take everyone down and doing it so quickly, as quickly as he can. He can really take all the heroes down at the same time. So those are different, and this was really the challenge in both Kickstarter campaign, to have the players feel the uniqueness of each villain. So like Kingpin is really different from Red Skull, which is really different from Loki, and each one has his own unique playing style.
That's cool.
And yeah, some of them will be more challenging, but it also depends on the heroes you are facing them with. So some villains are very difficult, especially if you are using the wrong team or a team that simply plays in the wrong order. So that's also that thing to factor in, because finding the right team for the mission is part of the game. Actually.
Well, and not to go on too long here, but one thing that you all haven't seen either is every cycle and level has different have other different cards conditions to scale the difficulty, and they can introduce things like Peter Parker on his mission was able to introduce things like journalists that were trying to track down and take pictures of the players in the locations. And so it added these other little modules that weren't the main villain archetype, but were things you had to pay attention to and avoid. And there was like Loki, I believe, had a betrayer. So at a certain point, one of the players just joined the villain's side, just switch teams. And so you play until that triggers, and then the whole game's just transformed.
Do you know who's going to be changing over?
Not till it happens.
It's like a
someone you get the card, so you know who you are, but no one else does around the table.
That's cool.
Awesome.
So
I dig
all right,
that.
let's keep doing this. I believe it is the supervillain's plan.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can skip it.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
true. Who's after him?
So Beast said that he has something for me if I visit his location. Let's see what it is.
I just said I was hoping you would. I didn't say I had anything.
We heard
So-
you.
I moved to the location with the hunted hero. Do you play your superhero
I have a
card?
trigger with the villain ends their movement in your location. Is that,
Yeah,
is that correct?
perfect.
In
Yeah,
fact, look at the master. So this is thwart the plan. Look at the master plan cards in the villain's hand. You may force them to put one on the bottom of their deck and draw a new one.
Oh.
Which could just be
Okay.
worse for me. Who knows? Like but
So I'm revealing my cards. Have a look at them.
You can also talk to us about it, right?
Yeah,
out there for anyone to see. Yeah,
We can all see it up here.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can.
He currently has a regenerative factor, move 0. As long as this is face up, he's going to get health. So this could
Which he's already
chain
got
with the other
He
one.
already has one
Yes.
of, so he'd be getting
Yes.
2 of at that point in time.
And then the other one is going to be move to the next clockwise location with any heroes, and then a BAM effect. Now, the BAM effect, reminding everyone, is going to deal 2 damage to 1 hero in his location.
And now if I leave this in his hand, we will know that exists, and that is a very specific type of move.
It is.
And also being
Yeah.
able to regenerate 2 per turn seems way worse. So we're absolutely going to bury that regenerate
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
1.
Yeah. Smart. Okay.
I don't like it when he says we're smart.
No. That was a
He
good
said
move.
I was
Trust me.
Oh, okay.
Trust me. That was good. Anyway, so let's resume with my turn. BAM effect means 2 damage to beast,
Just
which
a mild
will
amount
go
of frustration
KO.
in his voice, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Unless anyone has any way to help me, I'm gonna get KO'd. Is that?
Oh no.
Yeah, I think
We
that's
just
going
healed
to
you
happen.
though.
We did
That-
for one, and I got hit for two.
Not enough.
Not enough.
So the hunter token goes to Mystique.
Ah,
That means
You are
halfway
the
to
next.
losing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close.
And but good news for you. I'm placing 4 tags, and there is no overflow effect.
hmm.
And my turn is over.
So you all can absolutely trigger either civilians or thugs, depending on what the team has to play. So within a round, within one more turn from Sabertooth's action, you all should be punching him in the face.
And I just got KO'd, but it is now my
Yeah.
turn, correct?
So you draw back 4 cards.
And you flip back face up. Yep.
I get 4. I get 4 cards. This is also the beginning of my turn, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I will say.
I like the sound of that, Tony.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Just make sure you leave me something for my.
Oh no,
turn,
this
too.
is this is a phenomenal card.
Yes, the
It doesn't
double
really
Yeah.
matter.
Yes.
Double wild.
Oh.
Yeah, throw it out.
I've got triple wild. The next person will have double wild, which just opens
Ooh.
up a crap ton of stuff for us. So I think the move for me then is probably I'm no longer. Who is the? Is there a
Mystique.
maximum number of health points that a hero can have? Is 4 the max
No.
that they can have, or they can?
No. They can
Okay,
draw.
so in order to hedge our bets, this may not be like I am closest to the X-Jet right now,
Mhm.
so I could go there, and I could take care of those two. But if I move here
And you end your turn there.
and I end my that's Cyclops. Where's Mystique at? Is Mystique?
Well, she's
far
over there.
away?
You won't be able to heal her, but you could
Uh-uh.
start buffing. The token just has to get back to Cyclops. So if he takes out Mystique, we've lost. Is that correct?
No, he's got to go to Magneto.
He's got a
so
Magneto.
Magneto.
Yeah.
Magneto.
I can't buff either of the two people who substantially matter.
You're correct.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the long work because there's already somebody on. Cyclops can already beef themselves. So we are going to go move, punch.
Okay.
I think is the play
I like that.
because now we've got 2 on the cusp of success.
Yep.
And then you can also move if you want.
You can go anywhere
Well,
you
I
want.
can move if I
Yeah,
want.
because you just ended your turn there.
And we can't chain things, but I can maximize what I can do next turn. So I think I may join Mystique up top. I think because that'll put.
Well, if someone else has a wild, who's playing after you?
Me.
Mystique is.
If Mystique has a wild, she could literally clear the place she's standing on.
Now, Mystique, if you can give me 1 symbol on your card, I can complete the objective on my location next turn.
Oh, so that's another option. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
if she completes it, I believe the villain will go because it'll cycle. So really, Nat Nell should be the
Okay.
one to finish one of these.
Yeah, I don't have. It depends on the card I draw next. So.
Hmm. Okay,
So
well,
I
let's see
still
what
I still
happens.
think going to where Mystique is puts me. I mean, I can go to where either one of the 2 of them are. That's going to put me in a better position to support whatever's
Mhm.
going to happen, rather than being.
Yeah,
across the
that's
board.
true.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
agree.
Cool.
Do we have a feeling on if one of those locations is better than the other?
I think he's guaranteed coming to Mystique, and so if you're able to potentially block damage or something, I
I'm
don't know.
not.
Oh, well, some of his effects, like his ban
Yeah.
effect, allows us to choose, right?
Yeah. If you're
Uh,
on the same location as me,
Okay.
you could
So
take some damage.
let's yeah. Well, I still think going where Mystique is the strong move right now.
we'll see what happens. All right,
Cool.
Mystique.
Crossing my fingers.
Draw that beautiful bean footage or card.
Hello?
Because I also guess there's the reality for like we know he can move 1. We don't know what he's going to be able to do otherwise. We also Cyclops is somewhat of a threat right now because Cyclops can complete an objective there.
Well,
Okay. I don't have any. Honestly, there's only one card really that will help, but it's just a movement, and that's just not going to help. For your
Remember, you
next
also have
turn.
the 2 wilds as
Yeah,
well.
I have the
Yeah.
2 wilds that I can do something on the card, or try to save civilians.
But any
right.
symbol that you give me, I'll be able to
Oh, okay.
complete an objective. Doesn't matter what symbol.
But
it
that
is.
you're gonna get a symbol. Yeah. So you basically were saying don't put a move down that doesn't have a symbol on it.
That's what I was
The
implying.
next master plan card played cannot add civilians or thugs to your location or one of the 2 adjacent ones you choose. Okay.
That's very strong against overflow.
Yes.
That is,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of actually moving to this location and playing down, using those 2 wilds to help with the task down here,
Sure.
That
and
sounds like a
then
good-
making sure that you can't overflow the location that I was previously at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sounds
like
good.
So
that.
let's use this one. And here. Okay.
Nat Nell.
Right, so let me
It's
just
just
try and
stop.
figure this out.
Here you go.
Hmm.
Gotten very intense right now.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just.
That's the every
in the
time
zone
we've
right
played.
now.
Every time we've played, we've got to like end game, and people have just started being like, "Oh, there's." I thought this was like an intro, family friendly, and they're like, "Why
And
am
then,
I thinking as much as I am?"
Yeah, you know what? Actually, the simplicity of this game is absolutely amazing, given the amount
4
of stuff happening on the table.
4 symbols. 4
Yeah.
symbols.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot, but it is
Insane,
just,
right?
It's really good design. Yeah.
Man, if only there was a way for us to tell the designer that.
I know.
If only anybody was going to see this game later and could hear that. I mean, that's
Ah.
the real.
If
Yeah.
only, man, I'd love, those are the moments when I think to myself, like, I just wish I could talk to someone that made this. It'd be great.
All right. Are we wanting to complete? So the way that this works in the middle over here
Yeah.
is it each objective is tied to one of these effects?
No,
No.
they
Slide.
slide.
They'll slide
So it's-
down.
It's this one first, this one second. This
So
one.
by the time you complete one of them, the villain's going to go every 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the next one, we're going to be able to punch him.
which is
Right.
fine because theoretically,
He'd be
like,
going next anyway.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like, and also Cyclops will go after that, and Cyclops can get 2 punches. Cyclops can, or a punch and a wild, or 2 wilds. Cyclops can win the game. Cyclops has a wild token in front of them, so they need a punch or a wild to be able to end the game
Okay.
if we clear that location.
Well,
Okay, so we're pretty as long as there's someone to punch, I guess Cyclops is guaranteed because I'm going to play a wild.
there we go.
So we'll start by playing my heroic token on this card here.
Clearing
There's
that. So
What does
this
that give us?
is going to pop off.
Yep.
It can rescue
These-
1 from this location, although there isn't, right? So
That's fine.
that's fine.
Okay. And
And
you
I
have the
have a-
movement. I don't know if you want to use it.
I have a movement and a wild. And what should I do?
I mean, you could come over and help save a civilian. You could go down and save a civilian. Do we have to just complete 2 objectives, or do we have to complete them all, or complete them all and then start punching him? What was the rule? again?
Only
two.
2, and then you
2
can punch
missions,
him.
and then
If you happen to complete the 3rd one, you'd all get 1 health back or 1 card back.
Gotcha.
Well, you said he has 1 movement, correct? It has
I do have one movement.
a movement, and what else available to you? A wild?
Wild.
Well, if you come over, I'm trying to think.
Well, I think it's probably
The we-
if
a
I,
weapon
I'm going to be
exercise.
the next one to die at Sabertooth's hand. So maybe the closer I am to
The health
the
location.
island,
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah.
Also, I did forget to draw a card. I'll just do that now.
Yeah, if you all just end the battle where it all started on the island, maybe then you'll be able to have enough health.
That feels very Muir Island.
and then I'm gonna reluctantly rescue another human granny from one of these Weapon X toxic filled tubs, I guess.
Oh,
So it's up to me, right?
yeah. Well, don't remind us.
Okay. So now you position yourself better, and it's hard for me to reach Mystique. But luckily for me, I still have two super villain cards in my hand. So I'm playing these and these together, and these now you see me means that I can play it when I play a master plan card with a BAM on it, which is this case. I can apply the BAM in the location, in an adjacent location instead of where I am. So the movement is moved to the next clockwise location with any hero. So Beast was shielding Mystique correctly.
Bam!
But good for me, I have this, and I can BAM where Mystique is, dealing 2 damage to Mystique.
Mystique still has their good card.
Yeah, so Mystique, is she playing her superhero or she goes KO?
You got a special ability there?
So you're saying I would go KO if I lose 2 of my cards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the only thing I do is when I go KO, so I have to play my cards here.
Oh, okay. So
that's good.
Well, that's not good for
Yeah.
Ugh.
So here's the card.
What do you have? Trigger. You are KO'd. Effect. Delay the next villain turn by 1 card.
Oh, but that's good for you.
That's good. So
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So we use this delay accelerate token to mark that. So instead of playing after 2 cards, I will play after 3 cards.
Okay.
Just like before.
I like that.
And then I place my civilians, and since Mystique is KO, she cannot prevent me from adding the civilians.
So because you landed on the asteroid end, do you ruthlessly kill all of these grannies as well?
Oh yeah, that too. Sorry, I forgot.
So since I'm KO'd,
way to remind him.
My card no longer works.
Yeah.
Ruthlessly murder all those space station grannies.
So yeah, the
card. Oh no, well, actually the card is still active, so you can choose. You can stop me from playing the 2. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
You can stop me from playing either those 2 civilians or the 2 in Genosha.
I would stop the 2 that are close to overflow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those 2 are not added.
Hello, baby. Oh, so cute.
Hi. Ettore, say hi.
He's so cute.
We've launched our ultimate strategy, making Andrea
distract Andrea with his own child.
In front of his child.
Yeah. Your own child will be your demise. All right. And where are we? Is a hero about to go?
Moving the hunted token.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
To
Thanks for
Magneto.
reminding us.
Falling down like dominoes.
Yeah. All right. So are we ready to clear a second objective?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So let's do this then. We'll play
double punch.
We'll clear
look at that artwork. Can everyone just pause for a second and check that artwork out?
That is Slim. That's Slim. You know, he's getting his
beautiful.
He's got his lock on with his optic.
I don't remember giving permission to use my body as a likeness, but it's fine.
Just went this way.
Just one very directed beam. All right, what are you doing with that?
All right, so we're going to take those 2 out. That would clear this objective as well.
Boom.
All right, so now we can attack. We have movement. Oh, so I didn't even draw my card. I don't think that would have played. Yeah, it's not going to change my. So movement. I have an option. This is what I'm thinking, guys. If I move over to the Sentinel space station, I can discard to be able to pick up from what we need.
Okay.
I could then swap out something because we know we're going to need punches to take him down. So it's either I can swap out some punches or I can go for those the 2 stars that I played
I'd say if you were gonna do that, punches would probably be the most valuable thing for you to get back into your hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's use the wild as a movement. We'll move over to the Sentinel space station. I'll activate.
Keep in mind, though, if you keep the punches there, then Beast gains access to them on his turn.
And I can punch right away.
Yeah, you
Oh.
can you take the
That's
wild?
right,
Or something?
that's
I was
right.
going to say the other thing is, and this is kind of counterintuitive, if you end your turn there, you can beef Magneto up by 1 health.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's true too.
That's right.
I don't
Yeah,
hate
so-
that. I don't hate that.
I don't hate that move. I like that move. Yeah, so instead of the movement there, so I would just be letting that other punch or that other action
You'd let
go
it
to
drop.
waste.
Yeah, you just wouldn't use
Yeah,
it.
having done that, I know it feels like so dumb, but I also think I think thinking about it is giving Magneto a health rather than letting it go to waste
Now-
is the way to think about it.
Now you don't gain the token, correct?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll let it go to waste. We'll let it fizzle, end the turn there, and then allow Magneto to draw a card. I like that.
Because Magneto was still 1
I
down.
like that
I just
idea
get
as well.
Magneto back up to fighting weight.
Yes.
And don't worry, our distraction is working.
Yes, it is.
Oh man. Also, I guess this. I'm gonna draw. It's my turn now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Draw. I'm gonna flip. Well, I think this is the move. I go. What does Genosha do for us if I am there?
Allow
Oh,
Rescue-
that actually
rescue
does
from a
do something
location.
for us. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is play this card.
Punch, punch, punch,
Punch,
move.
punch.
Wow.
Do you want to talk about how you're doing this? Like, what's?
Yeah. Do you want me to describe it?
Yeah, give me some flavor on this.
So Beast came here to like hang out and protect Mystique, and then Mystique was like, I'm gonna go to Genosha, and Beast was like, I've got this great book here, I'm just gonna read it. And then all of a sudden, Sabertooth bursts through the door, smelling Mystique, and launches a missile from this orbital satellite down at Genosha. And then I noticed that, so I throw my book at the back of his head. And then that's 1 punch. The missile's already launched, so I kick him and I sweep him off his feet, and then I pick him up and I toss him through the air, and then I jump in an escape pod and shoot down Genosha. Also,
Well, you do pick up the book before you leave, though.
I do, of course. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I've got an extra copy. Like that's my.
Oh, that's
throw-in
fair.
Copy.
That's fair.
It's my throw-in copy.
Everyone needs a good throw-in copy.
Because the other thing, in addition to that, like that Beast and I have in common, if you want to, Jesse, if you want to just highlight Beast's character art,
Yeah, I can do
in
that.
addition to the hair and the size, that outfit is what I wear most of the time. But you can fit a book in the back pocket of those underoos.
Fair.
And there's a pocket on each side.
Fair.
So I
Totally fair.
keep a throw-in
totally
copy
fair.
and a normal copy. And if you end on Genosha, you can. It is clear to rescue one of these folks.
Yeah.
Also too. So that's my punch, escaped pod, rescue.
And one more person gets to go because we have broken the rules of the game.
Yes.
So Mystique is back with 4
Oh.
cards. Hey, buddy.
So you got to move in a punch. So you could get in his face right away.
Which is not I mean, like I think as
Yeah.
much as we can slow him
Slow him
and
down.
do damage on the way. it's
Because
still-
he's going to be regenerating at least by 1 as well.
right. I'm so glad I cleared that other
Oh my god.
generation.
That would have
Yeah.
been so bad.
And actually, a rescue at this point is not a bad thing either. Like,
Because we will be able to get to draw a card, which is not bad.
well, we'd have to get 2 more rescues.
2 more rescues, correct, right?
What are you thinking, Stephanie?
Well, drawing back up here. Oh, I did it again. There we go.
You gotta go quick for a draw or slow for a.
Or you can even just hover over it and hit the number 1.
Yep, that's what I was doing. And now it's drawing 1 card. All right, there we go. How many cards do I draw up to?
4?
3 plus 1, so 4.
So in the timeline of the story, then, according to what you were saying, Tony, is Sabertooth on the hunt for Mystique and he's still trying to seduce her because they do have a son together.
Ah, that's true.
It's true.
Yeah, so that's just another story to this arc. It's
There's a lot of layers here.
yeah.
So I got a move and a punch, right?
Hmm? I mean, and if you have an extra move, you could come back here and get that last thing off. If you have a heroic action, you could use that before you go. If you have extra punches, you can punch more.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She could move, punch,
So,
and
yeah,
get
a
out of
move-
the way.
Yep.
Exactly, and then if she ends on
Oh, yes.
the Blackbird, she can move to another location and set herself
Yes,
up.
she could.
Oh
like
no,
that.
2 more punches.
Double punch.
Nice.
Now, if you come back to Genosha, you can save that thing, which will put us closer to getting. all
No,
of
you
the-
can't chain end of turn effect.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying instead of moving over. To
Ah,
the
okay.
next-
Okay, instead of
now the
yes.
other thing you could do, because I'm already here, so I can save this one maybe on my next turn. You could move to the X-wing and then drop down to the Sentinel facility and be there to try to take care of that person next go around.
Now, some of the stuff we know about his movement is that he tries to press forward. So I think it's a good idea to keep people kind of in a surrounding pattern as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I go here,
And then
where is
Being at the-
Magneto?
being at the Sentinel
Magneto's-
station is I think the way to go.
Okay.
Because you could potentially rescue that individual, but also it gives us access to healing you also, or
Yeah.
moving right onto Muir Island
Yep.
to heal.
Correct.
Now, I guess
Sounds
the other
good.
option is to move to Muir Island to beef up Magneto.
But it wouldn't beef him right now, remember, because you can't chain
Yep.
end of turns.
Oh, that's true.
Mhm.
That's true. Yeah. So then don't. do
So either next turn,
Yeah.
either way, next turn is going to be where she would be able to do it. All right.
So my turn, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Unless you don't want to go. I mean, we're fine keeping,
Yeah, we're fine with that.
Keep on going.
hey, what are we going to play?
Jump rope.
I think I will do this. I move to the location with the hunted token.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Boo.
Bam, and deal 2 damage, but I'm not winning. He's still with 1 card in hand.
Good thing we healed up once.
Yeah.
Oof.
You will have lost otherwise. So, and then I place 4 tags and do nothing else.
And there is.
Oh
zero
yeah,
reason-
I recover 1 health because of the regenerative.
And there is zero reason for you to put
back at
out
6.
What you call it, normalish people. There's no reason for you to put out grandmas right now.
Yeah, of course. If I can avoid that, I am.
So, can the next 2 players do a total combined damage of 6? That would
6.
be pretty essential, I think. Or both of them end their turns on Muir Island and buff
Well,
Magneto.
do you have any punches, Jazz?
I do have some punches. I could potentially, according to what I have, can do potentially 3.
Ooh.
All right, I think we've got this.
Well-
Can I speak on exactly what I have in hand?
Yeah, you can. Well, first of all, it's your turn. You should draw.
Yes.
My turn.
It's
Yeah,
Magneto's,
Nat's
right? Yes.
Yeah,
It's
so
Nat's
I do.
turn.
I draw
Okay.
a card.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna line you up there, Cyclops.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes,
Ooh,
that's what I was
no.
hoping you had. Oh.
So I'm gonna give you a 1, 2, 3 punch,
Ooh.
and
Oh,
then I'm gonna
Oops. Sorry.
flee over to Health Island over here so I can get 1 card back.
Now, can you heal yourself? No, it's just another
No, you
hero.
can't. It is another hero.
Yeah, it's got to be a different hero.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad.
Which is the linchpin problem in our plan, right?
So
Well, not if
I guess
not if
you
we can
have
knock
an
him out
additional
right now.
card, Cyclops.
Yeah.
Oh yes, because this is great. Cyclops,
Orange
do you have
juice
this?
is always good.
What's that? Oh yeah, I have this.
You do?
I do.
Double
Oh,
Wilds
no.
was like, yeah.
Yeah, double wild is just great. So
So
all right, I'll draw up. Let's see. Can I make it even? All right. So let us. I hold up. Let's see. Move. Oh, I don't think I have this on this.
What?
Times 3.
Oh
Now that I'm
no.
looking at it,
Ooh.
because
Because you
I
can
can
move
give you an
also.
addition.
I
I
have
can give you
to-
an additional card, right?
what's that?
did you
Using
drop one
the end
extra
of turn
card?
effect. You should have one more card.
Oh, I should have one more
Yeah.
card.
Remember, you also have a
And you
wild
have your
token still.
wild that you haven't used yet.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have it.
So, better to say
Here we
right
go.
there we should be, as long as you can move or punch,
yeah.
unless you have just all
All right.
yellows.
So, all right. So let's just play. Yeah, we can do it. So we can play the. Just for fun, let's do it. Let's play it this way. All right. So we'll allow me to play my token to move.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
3 punches, and you're gonna take out a thug on the
then-
way.
Yeah, 3 punches, and then I'll take out a thug on the way just for the fun of it.
You
So
gotta-
here's what I need. Here's what I need, Jazz. In the classic Matthew Mercer, how do you want to do this, buddy?
All right. So we're down, Mystique just joined our team. We have her here as an X-Men. I see you trying to, seduce her. You're trying to, work on, that child that's coming, but not yet. At the present moment, I must tend to my X-Men. So I will stand in the gap for them. Thanks to Magneto's valiant effort joining the team, I come through and I throw that last punch, get rid of some thugs on the way down, and I tell you, although you are a pretty bad you-know-what, Sabertooth, I still think Logan has you beat. I will give him credit. Done.
So that is that was cool. That was fun. That was fun to see. It felt
I was so close.
you were so close.
You were so close.
Which is kind of what you want in a head-to-head one versus all. Like, and you have your little mini there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome. So the thing I normally ask at the end of these things, first impressions, final thoughts, any questions, any everyone feel free
At the same time.
at the same time.
I had a blast. I thought it was really great. I was from the table presence was expecting a little bit more crunch, but I think I was actually really satisfied with the way it was. It was really about elegant visual design, not just a whole lot of things on the board. So everything ended up feeling just incredibly clear. You've got to understand 4 tokens, how they work with each other. I also loved the setup aspect, like having never played any iteration of this game before, like what you play impacts what your teammate can do next, and how are you setting them up for success, felt equally important to what am I doing right now this turn. And I loved that kind of double-sided piece, and I loved the consistent back and take, like you coming in really strong at the very beginning, hitting us hard, the ability to immediately push back by clearing a location, and constantly having no real idea about where we were at. Even when Mystique was getting knocked out and then seeing like, oh, that's what triggers the card that Stephanie has in her hand, and knowing that was just like this little successes kept on pulling me through the entire way. And it was just really exciting. I had a blast, and as somebody who grew up with the X-Men trading cards becoming a major thing when I was in upper elementary school, it's a great theme to play in. I think my only question is, if you get all the way around the circle, what happens? Like if all the
You
cards
keep
get
on
laid
playing.
down. You keep on playing.
Yes.
It just rests. How often do people make it around the circle? Is this about how deep you typically get, or?
Yeah, I mean the full circle. It depends on the villain, really. Some villains have a plan which is more like surviving until the end of the game. So with those villains, it's more likely to happen.
There's definitely some villains that are trying to cycle through their entire deck, and by the end of their deck, you'll be right at the end. But
I'm bringing the baby back to his mother, so I will be back.
Feel free. We'll talk about you while you go. We'll just whisper sweet nothings. So here's one thing, Tony, and you mentioned this. This is the 5th or 6th time I've been able to play or experience the game, and our first impression was about the same as yours. It was a well-to-do intro kind of family level game, and we played an even more simple version than what you were just experiencing. The interesting thing that we've discovered is all of the little modules, all of the different characters, all of the different ways that you can escalate the like how dangerous elements of the game are, introducing other little subplots or villains or allies. There is that little bit of crunch that you were like, I was really satisfied, but I was expecting more crunch. As you continue playing the game, there's a lot more crunch to add in, but you just don't get it at the top,
Yeah, but I also don't feel like, based on everything I've seen, even some of the other symbols, it doesn't feel like you're adding complexity. And that's the question.
It's strategy you're adding.
Strategy,
It's
yeah.
strategy.
That's elegance in design. You can add crunch without adding intense complexity.
Yep.
And that's the sweet spot. And that's what's really hard in design. And again, some of that's just mechanical choices, but some of it is like this circular mat can strike people a little bit weird, I bet you, off the bat, because you're immediately positioned with there's things upside down that I don't understand, and I have to. But the reality is, it actually creates a really satisfying central focus that lets you know exactly what's happening at a given moment. And the level of visual design that went into this also too, I think, is just really smart. The other thing is there's maybe a third of the things on the board right now that wouldn't be if we were just we would have just left them in the box if we weren't playing, if we were at home. So I thought it was great. I do have another question, but it's for you, Jesse, once everybody else has had their thoughts.
Okay. Stephanie,
I'll
what are you thinking? First impressions, final thoughts, any questions?
No questions. I think it was really good with how minimalistic it was, with the fact that there wasn't a bunch of icons. It's not a big heavy game with iconography, which sometimes can throw people off if there's too many symbols on a game, like what's going on. And every villain or every hero kind of had the same iconography, so you can understand what was going on. I also like the fact that even though it was cooperative, there wasn't like a fact of one person being able to take over the entire game, saying you do this or you do this, because we're all working together, having our own cards, which are different depending on who you are, which is very cool. And the fact that even like you were saying before, that every villain has their own kind of personality that can change the game as well. So, you can't be expecting the same kind of thing with every single game you have, which gives it variability, which I really like.
Nice. Now, Andre, can you play supervillain mode with less than 5 players?
Oh, yes, you can. There is no big difference. You simply split the tokens between less players. It's designed to be optimized with 5 players, but it works with 4 and 3.
I had to ask for the minimum player count category. I had to get that in.
Thank you so much.
There is even a way to play 1 versus 1. So
is there
really? Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
Neat.
sick.
Natnell, Jazz?
I'll leave it to Natnell first.
Sure. I like building on what Tony said. I really need to commend the visual design and the graphic design, especially. I think everything in this game is really straightforward, streamlined, and easy to understand. Very accessible, all the way down from the icon design to the artwork, and the choice of colors, everything. And I really loved that. I think it was really easy to learn, really fun to play, quite simple and straightforward, but at the same time, there's still a little bit of that strategy and that crunch involved. And the one thing that I'm really interested in, and what I really love, is just how much flavor and theme there is in the way that each villain is different in how they play and what their objectives are. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. To add to that, the design, it's simplistic. I will be honest and say that the first iteration of this game, when it hit Kickstarter, I was very intrigued on it, but I was honestly waiting for X-Men to come.
Oh.
Like that's I would have backed it if there was X-Men. I just grew up with the IP watching the cartoon. And while, you know, all the other the other extras that they had that were there were great, I was just waiting for this. I'm a big, you know, Cyclops fan, as you can see. Wolverine.
So were you disappointed on that initial campaign because they never showed up?
Listen, I don't say politically correct. I give you straightforward. Yes, I was I was highly disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I was highly disappointed. But I will say that this has. Can I just say maybe it's an insta back for me, not only because it's the IP, but I've always been looking for a game that plays a one against many, but that will really draw me in, suck me in, and be simplistic. You know, Simon had another design that I thoroughly liked, was Narcos, and it was in my collection, but I just could not get that to the table with, you know, the people that I game with. My family can look at this game and jump in, you know, nephews, nieces, cousins, things like that can get into the simplicity of this design, because again, like you said, it's those 4 different icons. The way the icons are designed, it's designed, you know, punch, a move. So people who are, you know, deal with, you know, colorblind issues, which my father's colorblind issue, these are the type of things that it would jump out. What I like not only of the villain asymmetric powers and how each one feels the same, each character deck feels the same, because I didn't draw a movement card the entire time until that last draw. I had a movement card in hand. So it's I like the idea of making sure that, you know, some things you're playing off of certain characters, like how Beast had that the genius intelligence, which lets you know his character has the smarts to use one icon as another. You know, Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. He has that ability to start off a turn and say, here's a token to somebody else on the team, which I really like that design in it. So it shows that you're not only just worried about the core elements, but the elements of each individual character is brought into it, which I enjoy. So yeah, this is something that, like I said, if people who were probably like myself disappointed with what they came out with, not in gameplay per se, for
just
the United,
IPs,
but the IPs, I think it's hit here. My last question would be: is there a way to have a design for maybe a mobile app or some kind of automa to allow that? Would it just be standard with the way that character plays as the supervillain? Or
so
could you use the supervillain with like an app or something like that would incorporate that same ability?
So the supervillain, the only difference really between the 5th player integration and the common integration is the new deck of cards with special abilities that both teams got. And then outside of that, it's just the player agency choosing what card's going down on the mat. So in the classic game, without that 5th player included, that deck of cards for the supervillain is still cycling and triggering the same way. It's just randomized instead of strategically chosen.
Okay.
So the experience that you just had would have been honestly, fairly similar to the core game, just you're targeting someone this time and you're fighting against someone instead of fighting together against a team. It's actually remarkable how similar both the core system and this 5th player expansion feel.
Gotcha.
I think the main difference is that the player as the villain can actually bluff a little bit.
Yep.
Yes.
Trash talk at the table and
bring a baby in, just really throw people
Yeah, bring
off.
a baby in, just exactly.
Just to show off.
We've had a lot of conversations lately in a couple of design communities I'm a part of for RPGs, really about the one versus many idea. Like there was kind of early in RPG world, there was like, okay, is the GM versus the player, is the GM for the player? And the stance is supposed to be like dispassionate. And then modern games have been more like, the GM should be on the side. And now we're seeing this conversation come in about, what if the GM's just an unstoppable force that is, in the world? Like, what if he represents some danger that the players are actively,
so you could eventually take down the GM.
They're trying to, and you're trying to fight, and it's come up, and so I love this. We were talking right beforehand about where some of those elements of board games and RPGs are coming, and that one versus many asymmetrical feel. I love from the get-go, because lots of times that's achieved by a mid-game reveal or something else like that, and to have that from the start, I find thoroughly enjoyable. And I think it's something that on both board games and RPGs and tabletop culture across the board, we're able to start seeing some of that piece get fleshed out in some really solid ways. And I think this game.
So
does
I do have a question, Andre. This is going to be probably the second video that goes out in the campaign of 3 that we're doing. And Eric Lang in the last video, in the very first one, made sure to spoil almost everything that was coming out. So I'm curious from your perspective, because I assume this will be going right next to when the campaign's launching. Any details you can share that you're excited about that maybe might be like people might be finding out about for one of the first times on this video?
Oh wow, I don't know
It's a big question. Just say anything that comes to mind, and I'll include it in the video.
There is one big other mode other than the supervillain, which is the team versus team. I don't know if Eric already
He did. He spoiled that.
Of course he did. Of course.
Who are some of any characters any villains you're super excited about? Because this is the core box that we're playing with right now.
Yes, I mean, we have a special set where you face.
So that was a gameplay, right? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was able to demonstrate the conflict between characters. And I know I cut Andrea short there just a bit. Here's the thing. I found out a few of the characters coming down the line, and you're gonna want to be paying attention. That's right. This that you're seeing in this gameplay isn't, I mean, who would have guessed? It's not everything that Simon, Spin Master, and Marvel have in store for you. So, stay connected. Let me know in the comments down below, is this an instant back? Are you still waiting for our third gameplay to come out? Or are you really compelled and invested in the whole Marvel United series already, and you just wish it was here already? Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.